Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to, yes, that is right, first 2022 away day guide with the tractor girl, Amy, the roving reporter. She's been here, she's been there, she's been everywhere, and she's going to share some experiences, some knowledge, and the know-how on this year's visit to Bolton Wanderers. Amy, Bolton, Ipswich Town versus Bolton, Bolton versus Ipswich Town, a fixture that just produces nostalgia and memories.
Oh, without a doubt. I think it's the game. It's a game that crops up most seasons, isn't it? And of course, if you say to
Mm.
any Ipswich fan, especially of our age, um, what do you think of if you say Ipswich Bolton? I think we will all Bolton away for me was the big one in the playoffs when we went there and came back from 2-0 down, and of course the home game was my favourite ever football match that I've ever been at. The 5-3 was just incredible. So the two of us together, I think, is a nice story there, really.
Mm.
If I remember right, Bolton got promoted the year after us. And I
They
believe we're
did,
up there
yeah.
quite a bit longer than us. So, as we were saying before the show, it's quite fascinating the fact that both of us are dropped down to League One now. Bolton have had all of their problems, of course. We've had our own, though not quite on the same level as poor old Bolton. So a sign of where football has come in the past 2 decades, I think.
Where should we start with this away day guide? I feel like I'm sort of, just need you to give me the knowledge because I know nothing except previous results.
Well, I thought what I found interesting when I started sort of looking what would I like to talk about this show is their what their past month has been like, and that's where when we talk about how far the clubs have dropped really and how things have changed. They're 17th in League One, and actually that doesn't surprise me. Perhaps a little bit given how much they've struggled with the new losing their owners and all of the problems, the financial problems that they had. Maybe the fact that they are still in League One is a little bit of a shock, but the fact that they were 17th, I was quite surprised they were that low. It's a reminder that they are. Would it be really mean to say a bit of a mediocre side in League One? Just not really expecting anything from them, which then once I've gotten over my sympathy for them makes me feel a little bit more hopeful about our game against them. So over Christmas, they have been having a bit of a crappy time of it, to be honest. So the start of the year, so that's last week, earlier this week, sorry. So from New Year's Day, sorry, I'm getting my
Mhm.
dates mixed up. They lost to Rotherham, and then they've been knocked out of the Papa John's Trophy against Hartlepool as well. So they've not had a very good start to the year at all. And then when you go back to their previous games before those New Year games, they're right back at the start of January, so a whole month ago, when they lost against Fleetwood and Accrington. So they've not had a great time of it. So I suppose on
No.
the one side of it, having games postponed in December might help them in terms of having a rest. But I'd rather be us, to be honest, coming into it from that Wickham result and hopefully a decent result this weekend as well.
Yeah, you say you're surprised. You weren't surprised. When I looked at the table, I was surprised because, as I was just saying, while you were sorting the technical difficulties out your end, the 5-2 game they were very good. They were tactically so much better
Yeah.
than us. We were tactically so wrong, and I thought they were a decent side, and go on to do not amazing things, but certainly I was surprised to see them below us in the table
Yeah.
because we've had such a crap year
Yeah.
that I thought most teams would be above us, and Bolton being one of them particularly, with the way they played that day. But perhaps that just shows how poor we were, that we allowed a side that is only a couple of points now from the relegation zone to beat us so comprehensively at home. I don't know, and obviously
And
they've
how random the league is as well, I think,
well, it's
that
League
that
One.
they could get a result like it would precisely. Even our fantastic wins, Donny, I think, was somewhat expected, but Portsmouth away particularly is the one that jumps out at me.
Wickham 6 points from them. I
Yep.
mean, if
Who'd
you
have
had said
expected the
you're going to
double
say
over them?
well, nobody, and even the most
Yep.
knowledgeable of betting guys or girls would have probably not said, "Yeah, guarantee 6 points there." So yeah, it's been a strange old league, and further
Yeah.
highlighted by Lincoln a lot of people's darlings in this division being inside the bottom four. So crazy. But we are at Bolton. How do we get to Bolton? I mean, I've been to Bolton once. It was a flipping 0-0 draw. It was, and it was a crap game, crap journey, crap stadium. But how do we get there for those that perhaps haven't been before or have forgotten? Is it
See, this will
where are
be
we
an
in the
interesting
country?
show because I really like the ground and I think it's fantastic to get to. Admittedly, I've got a much shorter journey than you, but it's like M62, M60, I think, and then it's up. I believe it ends on the M61 as you come into Bolton, and as you come off the motorway and you pull onto the road that leads to the stadium, it appears in the background and it just looks like this amazing ground. In the same way that Portman Road kind of appears over the horizon as you come into the Ipswich by train, Bolton is the same as you drive in by car, and
Right.
it's a lovely view as you come in, and you think, I don't know, it always gets my butterflies going, ready for the game. I do enjoy a good trip to Bolton away, because the access via road is great, and also Horridge Park Station is literally over the road from the stadium, so it's a really easy one to get to however you are traveling. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a definite favourite of mine.
It'll always be the Reebok Stadium to me.
Yes.
But it's no longer the Reebok, is it? It's now the University of Bolton,
Yeah.
which
It
seems to
became
be the
that via the
modern thing.
Macron, didn't it? Do you remember the Macron as
That's
well?
right, yes. So I went. I must have gone in 2014 when we drew 0-0, 2014 in December. So it was freezing cold, shit game, shit everything. Anyway, um, but yeah, it would be the Reebok Stadium to me. Then of course you got the Macron, but the University of Bolton. So that seems to be the modern day thing, doesn't it? From football clubs that perhaps can't sell their naming rights to a better brand. It seems to be that a lot of clubs are adopting the University of approach, doesn't it?
Yeah, I like the idea of supporting the
I like
local
its community.
community. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's. I suppose in a way it's the same as us with Ed Sheeran. It's got a link to the club, hasn't it? Which is runs a lot deeper than just being the Macron or the Reebok. So,
Yeah.
although I don't know the history behind that, so that's what I always. People joked about us being the Red Bull Stadium or something like that when the American owners took over, and I was
I
just
don't
like,
mind
oh
that.
God,
I
you
don't
know
mind
how
that.
I feel about Portman Road staying as the name. I think the owners know my
They're
feelings
paying
on that one.
if they're paying good money, I don't mind. You know, it goes on a Macaulay Bonne or a striker or a goalkeeper that we might need now. Um, I'm well up for that. But so that's getting there. Once you're there, East Bolton's got some nice beer, surely.
It's so the problem with the grounds is that it's on a retail estate, and all of the bars that are on the shopping bit are home fans only. So the best bet for an away fan is to go to a place called the Beehive, which is just down the road. It's like a Beefeater type place. I
Mhm.
think it used to be Beefeater or Harvester or one of those ones, but I don't think it is anymore. Anyway, always has decent food there. Because it's a Saturday, I reckon you'll find there's quite a lot of Ipswich fans there. It's always nice there on a Saturday. They have sports on, so everybody watches the game together beforehand. If I remember right, Norwich were on last time we watched it, and we had good fun singing some songs at the telly screen. And it's about a 15-minute walk or so down the main road
Mhm.
up to the stadium via Tesco's, so you can nip in for a wee or nip in for a beer afterwards if you need one. Guess who's done that a few times. And the pub, the Beehive, does have parking as well, a fairly decent sized car park, which only costs like a fiver or something to stay there all day. So on the times when I have driven, that has been my vote for definite is that pub. But there are pubs in town as well. There is your good old Weatherspoons. You can guarantee there'll be one of those. So there's if you're coming by train, it might be worth grabbing a couple of drinks in Bolton before you head off to Horridge Parkway.
Done the pubs. What about you've got to do parking and things like that? I guess is there. You say it's an industrial estate, so I imagine there's probably ample parking. Or is it like Colchester, where actually it's in the middle of nowhere, but there's still not great parking facilities? Which one is it?
No, there's plenty around the ground. Just keep an eye out for signs on your way in. But like I say, my vote for it would be the Beehive pub. So you drive past the ground, you head up the dual carriageway, you go over a set of traffic lights, you reach a roundabout. The pub is on the roundabout. You'll see it, and the parking's round the back of it. So it's really, really easy to get to before and after the game. And you can have a sneaky pint before you head home, so that you can let all the traffic head away, because it is pretty crappy for traffic afterwards as well.
Yeah, or you can sit in your car and watch the full-time show, which will be live the moment the full-time whistle goes. Join us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. There you go. Nice little plug there for the show. Uh, Are you a burger or a hot dog kind of girl at a football ground when you've had a few drinks? Got there? Are you one to have the food, or are you one to have another drink?
Oh, babe, eating is cheating.
See, that's why I asked, because I'm an eater. I would eat anyway, but so I was going to ask you how the burgers were, but I imagine you probably don't know them.
I don't think I've
No.
ever eaten at Bolton. I don't think so. I think I've probably eaten at Tesco's beforehand. I did go there one year when I was pregnant with James, which was an experience. But I tell you where I've ended up eating is the Beehive when I've eaten. So I haven't eaten at the ground. Really nice. We had a dessert. There was 3 of us shared it, and Ant and Ben I know will know exactly what I'm talking about. It was a tower of profiteroles, and then it had different sauces to dip them in. It was amazing. So every time we go there, we always joke about having that again. But yeah, I'm unfortunately I can't advise on the food at the grounds, but I'm sure there'll be something good. There normally is. And what I would say is there's loads around the ground in the retail park, like McDonald's and Frankie and Benny's and all those types of places. So I've got him now.
Did you ever try their festive burger this Christmas
Yep,
period?
didn't like it. Didn't like either of them.
Which one
Too
did
dry
you
for
have?
me.
You had both.
Yep, of course I did.
I only had time
the
for
Mac.
one. I obviously don't order McDonald's as often as you perhaps do. Used to have 2 in the Christmas period, but I had the beef one, and I thought it was very good. I thought it was extremely well done. And actually, when I opened the box, it looked like the picture that it was supposed to do. Whoever had made it obviously put a lot of love into the situation. So, well done to the McDonald's crew there. But you didn't like it?
No, but I am on a massive sulk at the moment because normally this time of year the Big Tasty's back.
Yeah.
And
Is it not?
And it's not. No, and I'm absolutely devastated. Do you know what they've just introduced instead?
What?
The McPlant.
Oh, fuck off. You're pulling my leg.
No, I'm not. It's
Why
the
would I
bacon
want that?
streaky or something. The bacon stack. My husband has just texted me today because we've been waiting for today, expecting to have a Big Tasty for dinner tonight
Oh, no.
just to celebrate Big Tasty being back, and there's no Big Tasty, so I'm boycotting McDonald's for the next 24 hours at least. I'm sure I'll change my mind at the weekend.
For the next 24 hours. I like that. I like that a lot. For the next 24 hours at least. I can't believe that. I thought you were going to say like a McRib or something, like something that's
The
quite decent.
McPlant. As if you're going to go to McDonald's if you're a vegan.
I can't. Oh, anyway, I'll leave my political views out and my political and sociological views out of this. So we've done the pubs, done the burgers or lack of, done the recent visits. Where else are we going on the away day guide, Miss Downs?
Well, I do like to do a bit of an ex-players quiz. And today is a fun one. So I'd love to hear in the comments. I will pop back when this goes live to have a look in the comments and see what people have guessed. Or feel free to tweet me on Track to Girl Amy and obviously the Talking Town account as well. How many players can you think of that have played for both clubs? I actually really struggled with this. We've had
Ivan Campo.
Yes. I was really that was the one I was going to be. There's one that you're going to be really sad you didn't remember. I've picked up 4.
4.
So yeah, one of those is Ivan Campo. So if anybody can tell me who the other 3 are, if anybody can beat my 4, you'll have to let me know in the comments or on Twitter, because I would love to hear it. Whether you guys have can think of more than me, but there was one I didn't realise played for both, and the others I was like, oh yeah, I remember him. Yeah, I remember him. So Yeah, and they're all
Liam Trotter.
fairly recent as well. Nice one. Yep, nice one.
Liam Trotter.
That's two.
Ivan Campo. Oh, that's all I know. That's all I know. Two.
I'm
How
not
many
going to
are
give
there?
clues because I
How
want to
many
see if
are
others
there?
get. I've got four.
4.
I
There you
bet
go.
Rich or someone like that will come up with more, but I've found four.
Mark Fish.
That's a new one. There we go. That's not
3.
part of my
I've
four.
got 3 because Mark Fish did play for us for 45 minutes, although play is a loose term. Um, yeah, that's all I've got at the moment. That's all I've got. But okay, cool. I like that game. It's always a nice little game to play. Where else are we going on the guide? What else have we got in store for our wonderful miracle viewers?
I think that's everything that I wanted to cover. I'd be interested to hear. We obviously land on opposite sides of the debate when it comes to whether we like this ground or not. With it being a fairly new-ish, relatively speaking, new ground, it's definitely got the look of the bowl about it. It always reminds me of Wigan, and a tiny bit of Hull as well, actually. Although I think Hull's is bigger. Certainly feels bigger. Maybe it's the location. But yeah, those big white bowls. Do people like them? I really like the modern that stadium. Usually I like the old ones with character, but I do like Bolton, especially at night time. I think the ground looks really good with the lights on and stuff. But maybe that's just a football thing. I think all grounds look stunning at night time with their floodlights on, don't they?
I really enjoy the. Really enjoy. I really like the stanchions, the supports that go above the
Yeah,
stadium. That's
yeah,
what I always think when I think of Reebok. What I always think of is though, and that's what you normally see on your approach.
yeah,
So that
yeah,
always
definitely.
sticks in my mind. But I just remember going and it being horrible journey, full of
Bloody cold.
motorway diversions, cold, and then a 0-0 draw, which
Yeah. So it's hardly worth the
you
effort, is it?
travel all that way for a 0-0 draw. Um, but that's the way it is. Hopefully, it won't be 0-0 this time. Parking the Gillingham through side because we haven't got a crystal ball. We don't know the result there. Do you feel we've got to go to Bolton and win? Because on the Talking Town shows recently, we've been talking about playoffs. Are they on? Are they off? Are they achievable? Are they not? And we kind of worked out on Talking Town last Sunday that you've got 8 games in which you don't want to lose more than 3 or 4 of those 8 games, but you've got an 8-game period where you can afford to draw 5 or 6 of those 8 and lose 2. So is it pivotal, or is it pivotal that we go to Bolton, Amy, and get a result to keep the playoff dreams alive?
I suppose it depends how you look at it, isn't it? Like for me, I'd like to see the momentum of the Wickham game. I'd like to see the momentum of the new manager. We took this punt on getting a massive punt on the manager himself, but took a punt
Yeah,
on
fair
getting a
point.
new manager. I'd rather see the momentum building now. So to be playing a team that is in 17th when we are thinking at the very least we want to be in the playoffs this year, realistically, I think it's a bit of a push now, but you still got to play for it, haven't you? So
Yeah,
games against a team that are 17th, it feels like surely that's got to be a win. Also, when you look ahead to later on in January, the following game is Accrington at home.
yep,
The final game of the month is Sheffield Wednesday away. And in between that, we've got Wimbledon away as well. So it's you feel a bit nervous about, and I'm not, I wouldn't say big fan of Accrington, but I have a lot of respect for them. That's going to be a challenging game at home. It'd be nice to go into it with the confidence of, we handled that game well. We showed what we can be.
yeah,
And that's what I'd like us to start doing now, is show that we can consistently be that team that beat Wickham at home, that team that played well at Wigan just before Christmas. I want to see that more regularly. That's what Cook wasn't getting out of us, and that's what McKenna needs to be getting out of us, I think.
absolutely. Yeah, no. I suppose the last question to finish on: are you going to go?
Oh yeah, absolutely nailed on, definitely for me. So this is it was a choice between Bolton and Sheffield Wednesday for me this month, and I'm actually starting to think I might just do both. But we'll see how let's see how it goes. But yeah, Bolton's one that's reasonably easy for me to get to, although I might be having to summer lift off and steal, stick my hand out on the M62 and he'll pick me up on the way past. But yeah, I enjoy it. It's a good day, especially when it's on a Saturday because you've got time to go and spend time in the pub and stuff beforehand. And because that beehive is sort of out the opposite direction to everything else, it ends up just being Ipswich fans there, which is really nice. So I always enjoy that
Oh,
game,
that's nice.
and I'm
Yeah.
feeling fairly hopeful for the result as well, which makes a nice change. So got to be done, I think.
Absolutely. Right. Well, another away day guide in the book. We will see you all next week for the next one. But until then, hopefully, Town are going to grab 3 points away at the Reebok. No, Macron, no, University of Bolton Stadium.